What's up you guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristian Hansen. In today's episode, I've come to Banten, or more specifically, Ujung Kulon, to start the very first episode of the new Java series. So let's continue keliling dari Sabang sampai Merauke.
On the very edge of Java Island, Indonesia, I joined the park rangers on their patrol to the national park. I've spent the last 4 years exploring Indonesia's untouched frontiers. And once again, I'm going back to nature. To learn from places and lives that are far different from yours and mine. Ini sebuah cerita tentang indahnya Indonesia dari sudut pandangku.
Oh, selamat pagi guys. I'm back on the road. Let's go to Banten. Oh my god, it's so good to be back on Garuda. It is now exactly 7 o'clock. Here's Papa. Yo, Papa. And we got 210 or 20 kilometers ahead of us today. So it's gonna be a long day, but it's gonna be my first time going to Ujung Kulon. So I'm super excited. First time I'm bringing the team as well. They're in the car. And I will do one because I'm a bit faster. And yeah, let's get this adventure started. Oh, you know what? I'm just realizing this is my first time going through Jakarta with a fully packed motorcycle. Since 4 years ago, I was driving on the road just down here on my way to take the ferry to Sumatra. Here we are 4 years later. And now I'm actually gonna explore Java. Oh, time flies. This traffic is crazy. It's 8 o'clock. I've been in the traffic for an hour already. So, guys, actually my sponsor Fifth Group, they asked me if maybe I could talk a little about safety tips because this is so relevant to my trip. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong when you're out on two wheels, and I couldn't think of a better time than to talk about it right now because there's bikes all around me here. I see people, right in front of me, two people wearing sandals. One is holding a big package. Some people are riding without helmets. Some people are speeding. And of course, we all do things we're not supposed to every now and then. But what I do to keep myself safe is, first of all, when I want to start my trip in the morning, the first thing I do, I check the tire pressure. Because if you have low tire pressure, you won't be able to maneuver your bike as smoothly. That can be dangerous, so I check the PSI on the front and the back tire. Of course, I will always use proper safety equipment. I use my elbow protectors. I have my gloves, of course. I have proper boots. I have my body protector. Of course, I have a proper helmet. And that brings me to my next safety riding tip. Make sure to use one of these pack talks if it's possible. There are various options, various pricing, but it's so nice to get the instructions in my ear so I don't always have to look at the screen, okay, where I'm going. Sometimes you're riding and you're in your own thoughts, but then this one will tell me, oh, remember in 2 kilometers you have to turn right. And the last thing I do this both with my family but also my team members. I have my Google live location set at all times to share with my father, my emergency contact in Jakarta, and my team. So if something happens, people know where I am. And I think that's really good as well, especially if you're out traveling alone. If you have any questions about other safety riding tips, just put them in the comments and I'll make sure to answer it. But now, I'll put my focus back on the road. And go on block. So here I am making safety riding tips and I have forgotten to close my helmet. So, of course, safety riding tip number 1, after putting on your helmet, go block. Make sure you fasten the belt here. See, even someone who's been on the road for 4 or 5 years can also make mistakes.
The temperature was plus 30 degrees, and even though we planned a lot for these trips, there was one thing we had forgotten to check.
So, guys, it's 11:30 and I've come to a city called Pandeglang, and my team, they're not too far behind. The problem is, it's Ramadan, so we didn't realize that every single restaurant in this area, everything is closed. You cannot find a cooked meal here. Luckily, the team is not so hungry. I am, and I really need some food. So today, lunch is gonna be a can of tuna, which in oil, which, yeah, is okay. Need some protein, and then a protein bar, a yogurt, and a coffee. That is gonna be lunch today. It's definitely not preferred, but yeah, again, sometimes on the road we can plan and plan and plan, but sometimes you just have to wing it. So, selamat makan.
We still had another 65 kilometers to go, and it had been a while since my last trip with Garuda, so I was feeling exhausted. I still remember when I first started touring around Indonesia, I worried that finding good fuel would be a struggle. But I've since learned that there are always a Pertamina nearby. And I barely bring cash anymore, as I now just pay with the My Pertamina application. So with Garuda full of Pertamax, we set course for our homestay for the night. We had finally reached the coastline, and I had been daydreaming about a couple of cool clips riding by the ocean with Garuda. Safe to say, we found the perfect spot.
So, we are actually gonna go into the national park tomorrow, and we're gonna go on a patrol with 2 rangers from the national park. And I believe we are staying tonight at the house of one of the rangers. Selamat sore, permisi. Oh ya. Oke. Di sini aja, Bu. So, we have arrived at Rumah Pak Latif, and he's one of the rangers. The other ranger is Pak Mul, who will also join us tomorrow. And yeah, very, very tired. So we're gonna unpack. I think we're gonna get some things to eat, and then we're gonna go to sleep pretty much, because it is 6 now, and tomorrow morning I think we have to leave from here. Besok pagi berangkat dari sini jam berapa, Pak?
Jam 7 sih.
Let's get some food, let's get some rest, let's get to know people, and let's do it. Okay. Yo.
As we would be going into the national park the following days, they let me park Garuda safely on their porch. Here you usually don't wear shoes on the porch, so I felt a bit bad as Garuda was super dirty. Before a full day of exploring, I like to learn as much as I can the day before. So together with Pak Mul, the park ranger, and Egar, our local guide, we talked about our plans for the shoot and what to expect. But as it was still the rainy season, one thing we could expect for sure was rain. And our kind homestay owner then cooked us some fresh fish for dinner, and it was time to rest up before setting out to sea.
Selamat pagi, guys. It is 7:30 and we're ready to start the adventure in Ujung Kulon. So everyone had to coordinate their packing, shower, everything this morning, because usually it's just me. The tour guides, they will do their own thing, but now it's with the whole team. So a lot of coordination, but we're learning as we go. It is the first trip. Everyone is healthy, happy, rested, almost rested. And now we're gonna go on the boat. Pak Mul just briefed us a little bit because he is a ranger here, and basically he goes along the coastline, he patrols, because there's a lot of illegal fishing. There's actually a lot of illegal hunting as well inside of the national park. So we're gonna go with him, see what his job is like. Let's go explore Ujung Kulon.
Pecang Ujung Kulon, mantap! Wey!
As we departed, I noticed the sea was full of small floating houses. It turns out it was fishermen's stations, like the one I had visited in Selayar. But as this is a protected area, unlike Selayar, only locals are allowed to fish here. And I was quite surprised when Pak Mul told me just how much they can actually make here.
Jadi ada banyak bagang.
Ya.
Untuk bikin satu bagang berapa harganya kira-kira?
Untuk harganya itu sekitar 60 juta satu bagang itu.
60 juta?
Ya betul.
Wish.
Jadi bawahnya itu dia pakai jerigen. Jadi satu kanan kiri itu 24 jerigen yang gede, yang besar.
Bisa dapat mungkin berapa kilo satu malam?
Itu kembali lagi, kadang-kadang 1 ton juga dapat, tergantung ya.
1 ton satu malam?
Ikan teri ya.
Berapa rupiah per kilo? Seperti 15 atau 10?
Per kilo, kalau ikan teri itu lebih mahal, jadi sekitar 60-70 ribuan.
Jadi kalau mereka dapat 1 ton,
ya.
mereka bisa jual dari 60 per kilo, mereka bisa dapat 60 juta?
Ya,
Benar?
besar ya.
I need to become fisherman.
Ya.
What am I doing with my life? As Michelle was saying.
Dan itu pun musim-musiman ya, musim-musiman. Jadi kalau lagi musim ini ikan teri.
Iya.
Ya, makanya banyak.
Oh,
bagang.
jadi bukan setiap hari ya, tapi mungkin
Bukan.
berapa bulan per
Ya,
tahun. Oh, oke.
nggak setiap malam. Nah,
Oh,
setiap malam semua bagang itu dapat banyak enggak?
Oh, oke.
Iya.
Kadang mungkin 100
Ya,
kilo.
gitu.
In that case, maybe I will just stay YouTuber, yeah.
We had to sail roughly 3 hours to get to our destination for the day. So I took over the job as captain, while Pak Mul explained why it's necessary to have rangers patrol these waters.
Ada kebanyakan sih motor jaring di sekitar sini. Terus ada kapal nelayan yang suka dan tidak bertanggung jawab merusak terumbu karang kayak kapal bom. Terus ada yang ngambil
Mereka pakai bom?
pakai bom. Masih ada, dan itu sangat merusak sekali ya. Dari baby ikan sampai mati semua terumbu karang. Itu udah lama sih, dari tahun berapa udah lama juga. Kalau untuk sekarang lebih aman dan terumbu karang juga udah mulai bagus lagi.
Jadi sudah berapa lama Pak Mul tidak ketemu nelayan yang pakai bom?
Dulu udah hampir 10 tahunan sih. 10 tahunan, dan sekarang udah aman adanya patrol ini.
Jadi boleh saya tanya, Pak Mul sudah berapa tahun jadi kerjaan ranger?
Oh, sekitar ada sih 15
tahun,
ya. Udah lama juga.
Jadi sudah 10 tahun Pak Mul patrol di sini dan ya biasa aja.
Iya.
Ya.
Biasa aja, jadi aman lah. Paling mungkin dari cuaca, kalau kapal gini kan kerasa goyang-goyang, paling dari ombak aja ya. Gitu.
Sekarang cuaca aman ya?
Cuaca aman, karena ini masih angin barat dan cuaca juga tidak bisa diprediksi. Kadang flat, tidak ada ombak, kadang ada ombaknya juga. Gitu.
Ombak yang paling besar Pak Mul sudah coba? Takut atau?
Pernah sampai kena ini kaca-kaca kapal.
Kaca-kaca?
Ya, cipratan ombaknya itu sangat besar sekali. Takut sih pasti ada. Cuman namanya juga kita harus itu ya, kerja ya tetap kita lakukan. Walaupun ombak besar.
Hati-hati di jalan. Salah, hati-hati di laut ya.
Ya, hati-hati di laut.
TTDL, hati-hati di laut.
And a few hours later, we had arrived at our destination. Pecang Island was a favorite destination for one of Indonesia's former presidents. And even though my team never complains, I knew they were happy to finally be back on land.
We have made it to Pecang Island and it looks amazing. The sun has come out, the water looks incredible. We've made it free.
Yeah, we've made it to Pecang Island. Then,
Ma-
let's see.
Masih mabuk laut?
No.
Okay, good. Baris, aman?
Kurang menantang tadi. Easy lah.
Yeah.
There are a few options for accommodation here, and we had booked a place that's been here for a while. On weekdays, the island is mostly occupied by the rangers and the caretakers. But on weekends, it's usually full with tourists coming from afar to visit the national park.
Okay, so guys, we have arrived here at Bauna and we have now checked out the rooms, and there's quite a lot of rooms. My team is getting one of the big rooms, I'm taking another big room, and actually my room is called Suharto because it used to be one of the places for the former president to love to go on jalan-jalan, on holiday. So it's quite cool. There's actually photos of Suharto inside. It is not a luxury resort, but the price also reflects it because there's another very famous resort here called Niki that is, I think, 2 million for one room, but here we are paying 800,000 for my room and 700,000 for my team's room. So yeah, 1.5, and there is plenty of sleeping space, so this should be fine for 1 or 2 nights.
We were then told that when you visit this island, you must visit the icon of Pecang. Located deep in the forest, we should look for a tree, not one that grows from the ground, but that grows from above. Come afternoon, it looks magical as the sun rays reaches the bottom of the forest. And small shout out to Garmin here, because my adventure watch can actually charge from the rays of the sun. One of the reasons I wear the Instinct 3 Solar.
Oh, if this is not healing, I don't know what is. I will not hug the tree though. I don't want to look like a crazy tourist in Bali. As we're walking into the forest here, there's even deers walking around in here. So cozy.
But the real attraction isn't the deer. It's what's called the Kiara tree. It's a strangler fig that can reach about 25 meters tall. It begins when a bird drops a fig seed onto a branch of another tree. The seed sends down roots that grow towards the ground, and over time, those roots and vines block sunlight and steal water and nutrients, slowly killing the host tree, leaving behind this hollow, tangled structure. It reminded me of Home Tree from the movie Avatar. And supposedly, it even survived the massive tsunami in 1883 when the Krakatau volcano erupted. But we suddenly had to rush back as rain was on its way. It's funny how the rain can sometimes be a blessing in disguise. Because once the rain had cleared, our front yard had turned into a scene out of the National Geographic's channel, as all the animals came out to feed and dry their fur under the sun.
guys, it is 4 o'clock and we're gonna make our last stop for today. Not even last stop, second last stop, to a place they call the savannah, because here apparently is the best view for the sunset time. So let's go and check it out. Alright guys, it is 20 past 4 and we are now officially back on Pulau Jawa, and now we're gonna go to Chidown Savannah. Gas!
Nih, ini yang bisa dibikin atap ini.
So it's called Chidown because ini ada banyak daun.
Ya, ini rumah saya pun sekarang masih pakai ini.
Masih?
Iya. Pipa.
Kalau hujan?
Enggak aman.
Iya. Tapi mungkin harus ganti setiap
tahun. Betul.
Look, fast, look. Super rare. Ini inches Elsa. What's the name? Frozen.
I think it's a bug or something like that.
Yuk, jalan. Okay. One thing we have definitely forgotten is mosquito spray. Or actually, feet. Do you have the mosquito spray? Okay, we need to pack it because the size of the mosquitoes here are the size of a small dog. Almost. Slightly hyperbole, but they're very big. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Paris, I spray you in the face. That sounds so bad.
No.
Come here and I will spray you.
And after making Faris extremely uncomfortable, we had arrived at the legendary savannah of Ujung Kulon, a sanctuary full of animals that we have heard so much about.
And completely empty. It's super beautiful here at the savannah, but it's kind of comic because we were super excited. We're walking in, we could actually see some peacocks, but then all the peacocks, they are gone and completely empty. So they tell me that usually it's actually full of animals here. They have like the buffaloes, the peacocks, they have deer, they have a ton of different animals, lots of birds as well. But maybe because it just rained, it's completely empty today. So you definitely want to come here if you come to Ujung Kulon, but as you can see, no guarantees. But one thing that I really like here is that I actually asked Pak Mul if we could fly the drone, and he was very strict. He was like, no, you cannot fly the drone here because this is a protected area by the national park. So if you come here, don't bring a drone, don't fly a drone, because there's a reason why the national park, they put these rules in place, and it is protect the nature and protect the animals. So that I respect. But even without animals, it's actually really beautiful.
Our visit to the so-called animal kingdom didn't exactly go as we had hoped for, but it was hard not to laugh about it. But the day wasn't over just yet, because once the sun sets here in Ujung Kulon, that is when the workday actually begins for many of the locals. We didn't know if we would be able to document it, but as they say, never try, never know.
So guys, we've come to one of the bagangs, these fishing stations, and we're now trying to ask permission to maybe join them for a couple of hours so we can see how their process is. I tried this when I was in Selayar as well, but they have a lot here in Ujung Kulon, so yeah, I want to try and see it here again and see if they maybe do it a bit differently. So now Pak Mul is going up to get the permission. Hopefully we can get it. We will see. Anyway, it's almost dinner time, and that's we don't need permission for. So let's get something to eat. So it is 6:45, and now we're actually we get the approval, so we can go to the badang after. But first, makan malam. We have ayam khas Ujung Kulon, originally from here. We have some sayuran, we have the delicious sambal from the lunch, of course rice, and amazing view with the lamp here, all dark, the sound of the ocean, good company. What more can we ask for? So, makan dulu. Put down the camera, dudes, and ayo makan bersama.
Yang makan di Ujung Kulon.
Alam.
Karena semua piring khas semuanya Ujung Kulon. Kita cuci tangan di Ujung Kulon.
Everyone was in great spirit, and it reminded me why I first had the idea to travel with a team. We had only just finished dinner when we were called to the platform. The fishermen had a few hours earlier dropped a large net underneath the platform. And to lure out the anchovies, they place large light bulbs above the net, which attracts the plankton that the anchovies feed on. They raise the net from a large homemade windlass. And once the net is close enough, barefoot and balancing on the fragile bamboo, they must raise the last part of the heavy net by hand before tying the net to the bamboo tubes.
This is no easy job. All of this is manual. You look at their hands, you can see how rough they are. Papa here, he does not look too young, but he's still pulling this massive ball of fish up by himself. I bet he's done this for many, many years. All while in bare feet, navigating the balance as well, not getting seasick. And I'm not exactly sure how many hours they do this, but I bet it's not for an hour or two, it's probably all night. Wow. Berapa kilo sini? Enggak tahu ya?
Tahu ya.
So I asked them, how much are you selling this for later? And they say they don't know how many kilos in the bucket, they don't know the price, because they give it to their boss later, who will sell it at the market. And then they get their cut. And I'm using my friend here as backup, or he's holding me for balance. Makasih ya Pak. Aman ya?
Aman.
Wow. Guys, the weather is getting really bad, so they told us, okay, we have to go back now, so the other fishermen can park their boat here, because the waves is getting worse and worse. Okay, sometimes we have to make our shoot fast, but we made it happen. Makasih ya Pak. Mari. Makasih.
Selamat pagi guys. It is 6:30 and it's raining a lot. It's actually been raining pretty much non-stop since 4 o'clock. So, and I can tell that the rain is kind of crushing the energy of the guys. They're not as used as me to being out on these trips. I think having hoped that it will be a perfect shoot and then the weather changes everything, so, and that's okay. It always sucks. So I'm gonna try and go out, pick up their spirits, and we're still gonna have an awesome day with a ton of new experiences. So yeah, let's go.
And the weather is still shit. So we were hoping, it's opening up a bit there, but we also said that at 5 o'clock, so let's see. Right now we're all in a waiting position, but it's not the worst place to be in a waiting position, because right now I can see a biawak on that side, monyets on this side, and yeah, even though it's cloudy, the view is still pretty good. And like I tried to tell the team this morning, that these trips are not full action-packed good things happening all the time. Sometimes it's like this and sometimes it's like this. So, long story short, I don't know what will happen, but we will find out. Stay tuned. Something like that. Okay.
So while we waited for the weather to get better, I thought I'd just mention how much it costs to go here.
So, if you want to come here to Ujung Kulon, it's actually extremely expensive if you want to go on a private trip. With boats and with stay and with food and with tour guide, you're easily looking at 10 to 12 million. There are options to go on a group trip, which makes it a lot more affordable. And if you stay here in the ranger's house, it's 750,000 per person. But if you want to stay in the fauna, like we've done, it's 850,000 per person. So it's the best one for group trips in Ujung Kulon, yeah? It's the best trip for the... I'll put it in the description. The weather might not have been perfect here at Pecang, but it's been a great stay. Really nice people and another island experience. Now it's time to get back on the boat and we will get back to Pulau Jawa.
The weather might not have been perfect, but there was no way we were leaving this beautiful place without doing this. The weather got rather rough on our way back. And I'm not gonna be mentioning any names, but someone in the group got very seasick. My photographer, Lutfi, on the other hand, was having a blast. We then met Palatif, our homestay owner, and his ranger crew. They had been out patrolling the sea for the last 2 weeks, but before heading home, they had one last inspection, and they asked if I wanted to join them.
So guys, what the rangers do here when they're out on patrol is they check for fishermen that might be out here fishing without a permission, because you need a special permission to be fishing in this area. So now we're out with the rangers. They have found some fishermen and they want to document and double check their papers. So we come out here with RPU unit, which is the rhino protection unit, because there are still Javanese rhinos left here in Ujung Kulon. But actually, just a couple of years ago, there were almost 75 of the Javanese rhinos left. But because there are still poachers that come out here looking for the rhinos, today there are only 50 left. And did you know that the Javanese rhino, they only reproduce once every 5 years? This is the last chance to save it. Jadi setiap malam mancing
Ya,
dari sini?
ya kalau
Ya.
siang ke sini.
Setelah berapa jam sudah mancing, nanti tidur di sini?
Ya. Dikarenakan cuacanya.
So the fishermen actually come here and they stay for 5 days. Every day they go out fishing. At night they come here. They sleep under this small tarp up here. Eat, cook, fish. It's a good life. So they are just fishermen. They are not here trying to catch or kill rhinos or anything else like that. So all good. And the ranger's job is done for today.
We then set course back for mainland, so the rangers could drop us off before they would go back out to sea for another 12 days.
Selamat sore guys. It is 5:30 and as it's still Ramadan, then we're gonna go to one of the famous spots here around Amanjaya, I think the name of this area is. Because in the afternoon, all of the people, they come together for opening the fast, so they will be selling a lot of snacks. And I really want to see that. It is one of my favorite things about Ramadan. But I also want to protect myself because this might look a bit dumb. Long sleeve, but in shorts. But that is a kind reminder for everyone to use sunscreen because my arms completely burned. My neck looks a little bit unhealthy as well. So jangan lupa pakai sunscreen so you don't need to look like an idiot like I do right now. But ayo kita, come on. Let's go and have a look. Ciao, Chris.
Ciao, Chris.
Here you can buy my towel, but it's very popular, so obviously it's sold out. But Daddy was full, so that's great. One of the best ways to tell if you've come to a small village in Indonesia, it is no one, and I mean no one is wearing helmets. Not the kids, not the papas, not even the elders. No one is wearing helmets. And that's because there's no police here, so no one cares. Nah. This I tried for the first time when I was in Jambi before I was gonna hike the Mount Kerinci. when you look at this, it looks like a normal fruit salad in Europe. It has various different fruit, it has some jelly, but here in Indonesia, they top it up a bit because it is also filled with not yogurt, but with mayonnaise and with mozzarella. It is an extremely unique combination, and do I like it? Not in particularly, but Indonesians absolutely love it. So if it's your first time in Indonesia and you want to try something unique, try the, what do you call it? Just buah potong, or you call it salad buah?
So we bought a ton of snacks and found a cozy place to enjoy them together. Not a bad way to end the day. Gonna have the view over the ocean here, gonna eat our snacks, and yeah, it's been a pretty good first trip. Yeah. So guys, it's time for buka puasa. We have gotten a lot of different things. We've got the fruit salad, we have gotten some juice with kelapa muda, coconuts. We've gotten a ton of gorengan. We've gotten 20 satay, chicken satay, 2 pieces of fried chicken, all of it costing 140,000 rupiah. How much is that in dollars, Wika? Yeah, around $8. So really cheap, and it's more than enough for all of us to share. So quickly test ini dulu. That is good. I get so excited. Okay, wait until you taste this, it's really good. And the gorengan I hadn't tried before is this. Apparently it's like singkong inside, but I noticed that it has a cracker on the outside. And it is, of course, here in Java, super manis. But actually I was told today that Sundanese food is known for being quite salty. Yeah, and more in central Java, the food is very sweet. I guess we'll find out later. But now, I want my team to enjoy this as well. Enjoy the sunset before it goes away. So, camera, please. Yeah, I will take it. And you, Faris, here as usual. And Lutfi. Nah, Fi, guys. Gets.
In all of Indonesia.
Nah. Oh yeah. Let's buka puasa. Enjoy, guys. Oke, mantap. Selamat pagi, guys.
Pagi, pagi.
It is almost 7 o'clock. It's raining, and this morning we're gonna go and stop by the fish market before we get back on the road. I'm thinking, why are we stopping by the fish market? I'm so tired right now I can't even think about why we're actually going there. Why are we not sleeping? I don't know. I will remind you as soon as I remember.
Well, I remembered eventually. Since we had already seen how the fishermen catch the anchovies, I wanted to see what happened next before we continued. The local distributors will come here every morning to wait for the fishermen, hoping they had a good catch. And I asked one of the ibus when she first started doing this.
Ibu dari 93? Saya lahir 93. Iya. 33 tahun ya? 2 tahun.
Trying to sit in the Indonesian squat position does look good on video, but the reality is, I still don't understand how they can do it.
Saya sudah tua, Bu, jadi ini sakit ini. Sudah banyak umur, 32. Dan jadi kalau ibu beli ikan gede dari sini 1 kilo 50.000, nanti ibu bisa jual di mana untuk berapa?
55, kadang 60 kalau bisa mau gitu sekilo.
Oh. Jadi cuman 5.000 ekstra saja.
Iya.
10.000 bisa, Bu.
Bisa, kadang-kadang. Alhamdulillah. Anak 3 sampai kebiayaan.
So she's telling me that her profit margin is only 5,000 rupiah. That is not even 30 US cents that she gets from every kilo of fish she sells after having bought it here. So while waiting, they are sorting the small anchovies from the big ones, as the small ones can sell for 20,000 rupiah or $1 more per kilo. It requires you to come here at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and spend hours going through tiny small fish that smells a lot like fish. So if you don't like the smell of fish, it's gonna be a very long day of work. That's gonna take a long time. Here at 7:20, they are arriving. All the fishermen that we met the other day around the Ujung Kulon area, the people that we checked that had the permission to fish, that had been out there for 5 days, 7 days, they are now coming back, and now it's time for them to take some profit and sell to the distributors who will be selling it to other areas. Yeah, here comes the crew. Pagi. Oi, and now the fighting starts. Who gets the big fish? Oh, Papa, he wants the big fish. Nah, Ibu dapat yang besar ya? Nah, pilih yang besar. Berapa ini?
Gak tahu belum.
Oh,
5.
oh gimana kalau 500.000? Tanya dulu, Bu. You know, I've eaten in so many Indonesian restaurants, I've tried so many different dishes, but it's always fun to see, like, behind the scene, where does the food actually come from? It comes from a tiny port after some fishermen have been out fishing in a national park for 5 nights, splitting the hard work, super tired, fasting during Ramadan, and coming here to sell it to someone who sells it to someone else, eventually to end out in a restaurant somewhere, making someone full. That is it's the full circle. All right, guys, and that is it. Garuda is now packed again. It is 9:20. It's time to continue to the next destination, and it has been an amazing first trip of the Java series. We have experienced so much in just these few days. Our travels from Jakarta, going all the way to Ujung Kulon. It's been so nice to be back on Garuda, being back on the road. And this time it feels different because I'm with the team and I can see how they enjoy being a part of this project as well. Yes, the weather wasn't perfect in all situations. We didn't get to see as many animals as we expected. There were several things that didn't go according to plan, but we still had an amazing trip because it's not about the perfect experience. It's about embracing what we meet along the way, having a great time together, and as always, meeting incredible kind Indonesians along the way. So now it's time to get back on the road. So, Bu Latif, terima kasih banyak. Thank you. And Pak Mul, terima kasih banyak. Sampai ketemu lagi. And thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. We will now get back on the road. See you in the next episode in Cipta-Gelar. Dadah, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned, because in the next video, the journey continues to Gelar Alam. Deep in the mountains of West Java, we'll live with the local community and learn about a way of life that's been passed down for generations, where the traditions of their ancestors are still followed to this day.